All right, so. Wow. We did it, you guys. It's the end of the year. If you've got eyeballs on this right now, give yourself a round of applause because this has been a doozy. And all I can say is we made it. Anyway, today is that video. It's the best of the best. Can you tell I dressed up? My hair, it made a lot of ill-advised decisions this morning. There are lots of bobby pins trying to hold together my faith. I have a box here filled with things that I loved this year, things that are just great, off the charts, awesome. I'm going to chase down every rabbit down all of their respective rabbit holes. This is gonna be a really long video. So yeah, I'll say what all the YouTubers say, grab a drink, grab a snack, because you don't know how to pause a video. No, I mean, set it up with like a bubble bath. Just like get your self-care on, because we're just going to luxuriate in all of the beautiful products that I have been blessed enough to try on my channel this year. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the best of the best makeup of 2021, according to me. I love my job. Can you tell I love my job? I just get to like try beautiful things and dress up for no reason all the time. So should we go in some kind of order? Maybe, because then people can use the auto chapters, or we can just be crazy so no one can skip through the video. I'm not evil, I'll try, but if I don't manage to adhere to it, forgive me in advance. Let's start with the first and not surprising thing at all. This right here, oh, it's just so pretty. It looks like a fashion accessory. This is the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I have it in the shade 3, but I really feel like it's some kind of wacky miracle where I could have bought any shade and it would have worked. It's an incredible foundation. It's got a lot of different kinds of silicones in it, balanced out with some skincare ingredients. It's got a really lovely medium to buildable, slightly dewy, but still has a dry down kind of coverage level. And I just love it. I feel like it was made for me. It was made for how I want to wear makeup. I definitely understand that's not how everybody wants to wear makeup, and maybe I should just go ahead and say this first and foremost in the video. This applies to every single thing I'm about to talk super highly about. This is just how I like to wear makeup. And this is my ideal coverage level. I love that it dries down because it's got enough emollients to it that if I want to powder it, it really stands up to it and it doesn't like dry out really badly. I did do like a wear test video of this really close up, and you can see even in like winter weather, it does keep my skin hydrated, but the fact that it does have the silicones and everything in it means that it'll dry down on its own and I can wear it with just cream products. I don't really have to powder it, and it'll still hold its own. It'll still wear for a pretty long time, and it's comfortable. It's lightweight on the skin. It's $61, and I know that that's not in everyone's price range for a foundation, but this is like best of the year. And this is the best foundation that I found. I mean, honestly, this is the best foundation that I have. Less expensive. Did this come out this year? Oh, no. Even if it didn't, I don't care. We're gonna talk about the Fenty Eavesdrop. I'm pretty sure it came out this year. That's what I'm wearing right now. I like the amount of coverage. I like the amount of wear time that it gives me. It's beautifully satin. It is her most me finish on a complexion product, because prior to this, Miss Rihanna Fenty had made mainly things that were super full coverage and or very matte, and this was her first like throwing her axe at the wall of skin tints, and it is unlike any other skin tint that I own or have used. It is a little bit more matte, it has a little bit more coverage, but it still gives me a really nice, I feel like, dewy complexion that looks good in person and on camera. I have heard some complaints about this, just, you know, catching on dry spots and things like that. I've never experienced anything like that. I think that if you are kind of a matte makeup wearer who wants to get into skin tints, this is a fantastic way to go. I also think it just photographs well. It's a really comfortable foundation that does lend itself well to a lot of different wearing scenarios. I love it. And it's only $29.50, I think. I did need to mention the Chantikai Future Skin. This is the gel. This is obviously not the cushion. You know, I'm gonna mention it because it was the top spot for me pretty much all year until I found a Lisa Eldridge. It's very good, but it's more expensive than Lisa Eldridge by quite a bit. And I think the Lisa Eldridge is better. In case this is my first video you're watching, I just wanted you to know that. Usually I try and like rank it and like, you know, narrow it down into like a top 3 or something. I'm just telling you guys everything that I loved, all right? These are the ones that I reach for all the time, especially if what you're looking for is a skin tint, silicone-free, more affordable. I think this guy's like $36, $35, something like that now. And it is a very, very good, kind to your skin, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful skin tint on my arbitrary scale of coverage. I just realized somebody could watch like an old review where I gave this a completely different coverage level because I'm a disorganized human. I would put this at like a 4. You know, it doesn't super build, but it's extremely pretty. It does wear really well. It wears in instead of wearing off. Did I even mention this is the Typology Tint Serum Tint? That's what this is called. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. Has like a nice dewy finish, but it does dry down and it's beautiful. Did not like the concealer. Love this. Not a great shade range, but they offer the thing where if you need to buy 2, you buy 1 at full price, you buy the second one at half price so that you can mix to match if you need to. I wear shade 1. It's very, very low coverage, so I imagine that's gonna make it a little bit more adaptable, but it is my favorite like true skin tint that I tried this year. And you thought that the Lisa Eldridge was going to be the most expensive foundation I talked about today. You probably thought that I was organizing my thoughts in a way that I was speaking in declining terms as far as price was concerned. Nope, that was just luck. This is the Traceless foundation stick from Tom Ford. This is kind of bridging the topic of foundation and concealer because I almost use this as a concealer, mainly because it is so fair. I just happen to think that that was the best undertone for me, and I have really enjoyed using this in one very specific way. And that is sort of a 1-layer complexion look. I've already done a full review on this and everything, and as a full face, I feel like it doesn't really set down all that reliably, and I do have to powder it more than I feel comfortable with, but wearing it very similarly to the Westman Atelier, what's that one called? Vital Skin foundation stick? Yep. The amount of full names of products that I have stored in my flash memory is like, it's getting to capacity. I like to use this, the Makeup by Mario, and then the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick in Biscuit, and I just do everything in 1 layer and then I blend it. Amazing. Amazing. It works so beautifully for that. That was what I was wearing in my last video, and I do it all the time. It is such a reliable, easy face of makeup that looks super polished, but it puts so much less product on my face. And I've been loving this for that. It's also very highly concentrated in terms of pigmentation, so I can really get a lot of coverage out of it and use it pretty much like a concealer, which is how I felt about like the Hourglass stick too, but that one had ingredients that really ticked my skin off. This one doesn't bother my skin. So understand that they are kind of one and the same though in terms of like that kind of expectation. Sorry, pardon me while I reapply my highlighter. I need that little glint and my lip itched, so ooh. We'll get to her in a second. All right, let's move into concealers where nothing will be a surprise to anyone. That's a lip gloss. These are my concealers of the year. I think that these might have been my top 3 when I did my top 3 in every category anyway, but as a refresher, it's these 3. And I'll go in order of coverage. So lowest coverage, the Thrive Buildable Blur. I have it in Fair, Warm. Oh my gosh. This was an instant love affair. You guys know I did not really like their foundation because it has a chemical sunscreen in it and it just isn't exactly what I'm looking for. This was exactly what I was looking for. I have never experienced a concealer that blends so instantly and seamlessly into the skin because it's so stinking hydrating. My eyes are just like, oh, thank you so much. I need the drink of water. This has a pretty darn good shade range. This was just a really, really brilliant release from them this year, and I have not been able to put it down since. So impressed with it. It is medium coverage at best, Very, very good for a no makeup day. You can wear this on bare skin the way that you would the Glossier Stretch Concealer, except it has a better dry down and it won't crease on you. And you will blend it into your skin and actually look like you're not wearing makeup, but that your, under eye circles are covered. It's a phenomenal product. Next, I don't think this came out this year, but this is still my concealer of choice. And maybe they increased the shade range this year? How can I get away with talking about this? I can't talk about that one without talking about this one kind of in the same sentence, just because they are so comparable. But the Cosas, this is the Cosas Revealer Concealer. I have it in 1 and 1.5C. They are a little bit more coverage, a little creamier, but also has a little bit more mattification. So if you aren't necessarily looking for that no makeup, like it will give you kind of a no makeup vibe and you can get it to do that, but it will also build a lot more and it's not quite as hydrating. Like as it dries, it's not a total skin finish, whereas the Thrive is a total like hydrated skin finish. Hard to see because they're very good matches for me, but that's the Cosas and then this is the Thrive right here. And the Cosas is just gonna absorb a little bit more light and the Thrive is still gonna blur, but it's going to have a little bit more reflection to it even when it's totally dried down. But they're pretty comparable. This one just has more coverage and it's a little bit more like milky matte. And again, this one didn't come out this year, but I think I tried it for the first time this year. This is my favorite kind of full coverage and it is the Pat McGrath and I have it in the shade L2 and it's great. It's great. It gives you this really beautiful, blurred but bouncy full coverage. I didn't immediately love it underneath my eyes. I do have to do a little bit more work to get it to be hydrated enough under my eyes because since it is full coverage, it does kind of tend to show a little more texture sometimes, but on the face, it is just unbelievable. It is so, so beautiful and smoothing. Okay, next I have 2 setting powders. And they're really, really similar, but I used both today just to make sure that I kind of had my thoughts together on what the differences were. And actually they serve different purposes. So this is the Cosas Cloud Set. I have it in the shade Airy. It comes in quite a few skin tone based shades. And then I actually just picked this up, but I have lots and lots and lots of experience with the previous iteration of it before it was supposedly reformulated. And it is the Well People Super Powder Brightening Powder. Oh yeah. So this is a really, really great actual setting powder, the Cosas, that gives you a brightened finish, but it's not highlightery, it's not shimmery at all. It just kind of has a lovely kind of like luminizing effect on the skin, but not in any kind of way that if you put too much on, you're gonna look like the Tin Man or something. This has a little bit more of a reflective quality, the Well People, but I find that it isn't going to increase coverage enough that you really like end up with so much of it on your face at any given time that you like get carried away and end up looking like the Tin Man. So neither of them is going to put you in the danger zone, of looking like an idiot. The exterminator's here, I'll be back. Hi. We have mice. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about the difference between the Cosas and the Well People. So neither of these is gonna get you in trouble in terms of like putting too much on and like, oh my God, what have I done? But they are going to serve unique purposes. This is a blending medium that is going to make your makeup look blurred and soft focus even after you're done. It's not really gonna build coverage. This is gonna build a little bit of coverage and truly like set your makeup. They're both really, really finely milled, but this one is a little bit more of a complexion product and this one is more of like a highlighter end of the makeup routine finishing product, if that makes sense. Like this is something that made me think differently about what was possible with makeup because I was like, oh God, what do I do when something looks hunky chunky? This is going to fix it and blend it and blur it without applying more quote unquote like coverage makeup. And this is just the prettiest setting powder I found. It's here, it's so good, it's so pretty. So yeah, them there. The setting powders. And just to get this out of the way, this is truly the setting mist of choice. I have been using the Dewy set from Anastasia. Oddly, I like the sprayer better on this one than on the MAC Fix Plus, but MAC Fix Plus makes me feel like a goddess every single time that I use it. It really puts my ideal finish on a face of makeup and blends it together and makes it look like I knew what I was doing, even when I didn't. I've had people message me and they're like, Dewy Set or MAC Fix Plus. You're not gonna be angry at either one, but I choose Fix Plus. Okay, that's the complexion products. That's all stuff you guys already knew. Let's talk about some color cosmetics here. We'll start with my bronzer and contour game. The first one, and honestly, this is one of those things where it's like the superlative of probably the thing that I've used the most this year. Most of the time my makeup looks brand new. I don't dip into one thing enough to make it look really disgusting unless I truly love it. And I've like cleaned this thing off multiple times and it still looks really, really gross. The amount of times in my description box I have typed the words, she's statuesque. My hands know it with like my eyes closed at this point. So this is the Cream Contour Bronzer Duo from Patrick Ta in She's Statuesque, and I love both of these so much. I've done a lot of comparison videos of my favorite bronzers and favorite contours. This one just happens to meet perfectly in the middle of the ideal bronzer shade for me. It's like the right amount of yellow, the right amount of green, bronziness, but still looks pretty natural because it's very fair. This does come in, I think, 3 colorways. And this contour has just enough opacity to it that I feel like it shows up, it does its job, but it doesn't overwhelm my look and it never makes my face look muddy, which is something that can happen very easily when you like to use cool toned, like very cool toned contours. Contours that kind of err on the side of gray because that's what makes the most believable shadow on my skin. Things can get really, really muddy looking really fast, or they look okay in one light and then you see them later on in the day, like in your car mirror or something, and you're like, well, what have I done? So this never did that for me. I feel like these are dialed in. It's extremely personal. If you can find your shades in these, I can absolutely vouch for the formulas. And if you are my exact same undertones and my exact same expectations, then you will probably find this really pleasing, but everybody is different, and I would say that bronzer and contour are one of the most personal things out there. The other thing, and again, I'm speaking specifically to my particular taste, but I've really enjoyed this, especially as a summer bronzer. So this is the Gucci bronzer. I picked this up at the Sephora sale. I got it in shade 1. It is the Eclat Soleil. I love this. I love interacting with this packaging, but that doesn't, send me all the way. I need to like the performance of the product. It's beautifully finely milled. The fragrance is really strong, I'll be honest, but it's just a bronzer, It's like I smell it while it's open, and it's nowhere near like the freaking butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. Like that one stinks up your entire makeup collection. Like when this is closed, I can't smell it, so that's wonderful. And I really, really love this color on me, especially as a summer bronze. Like I sometimes need to be bronzed to feel powerful, and this makes me feel powerful. I'm not wearing it today because I am so pale right now, but as a perfect, rosy, summery, high impact but not stampy formula, I've really, really, really loved this. I really don't know how I feel about their eyeshadow palette, whether or not it's worth the money. I'm not a huge fan of the foundation, really, but that bronzer has just been A+ for me. I've really liked it. This might surprise you guys a little bit, but I do have a cream bronzer favorite, and it was like once I got over the hump of being angry that I bought the shade that wasn't a contour shade, it actually ended up being a really beautiful bronzer shade, I absolutely fell in love with this formula and the way that it behaves. And this is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick in the shade Light. Everybody keeps messaging me and being like, well, if you buy the next deeper shade, it's actually more of a contour. Fenty did that, where a lot of people were like, this isn't the right shade for me. This isn't really a bronzer. This isn't really a contour. And it was because it was every other shade was cool, warm. And you were just kind of supposed to intuit that, like divine it by, like clicking through the swatches. Some people just don't have their eyes trained for that stuff. And so they need to be more specific about it. But this looked really cool toned. It looked really cool toned online. I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a bronzer, and it is quite a gorgeous cream bronzer. Like I said, I've been using the Tom Ford Traceless foundation stick. I've been using that Westman Atelier biscuit as my contour and using this as a bronzer on my cheeks. I discovered this when I was doing my makeup wrong on purpose in that video where I used all of the techniques that I never use on one side of my face. Granted, I tried to contour with it, and it made my face look like it was kind of sagging a little bit because warm comes toward the eye and it just distorted the shape of my face. But I realized that I loved the color as a bronzer and I loved the behavior of the product, because even when you completely thin this out, I think one of my complaints was that it was like a little too creamy. When you completely thin it out to the point where it doesn't even really come off when you touch it, it still has so much pigment. So much pigment in this really, really beautiful blurring satin finish. It's a very intelligent product. I think one of the biggest selling points initially for me was the sheer amount of product that you get for your money, but now I'm just so impressed with this specifically as a cream bronzer for my one layer complexion routine, which I guess I'm just gonna have to share with you guys, huh? Maybe I'll do that in my like last video of the year. I'll do a get ready with me that's like truly how I've been doing my makeup lately. That'll be fun. Yeah, this is what has been the best one. It completely beat out the Fenty Butter Biscuit for me, because that one is a little bit too tacky still. This one has some serious intelligence built into the formula that you almost don't know until you wear it just right on the skin. Instead of trying to combine it or layer it on top of things, it works so beautifully as like a one layer bronzer. All right, now we move into my favorite category. Again, if you've been watching my channel all year, most of these things won't be surprising to you, but these definitely won't be. I mean, if these were absent, you guys would think that I got knocked upside the head and had amnesia or something. For all of the hype of the Pat McGrath Divine blushes, for as much expectation as I had for these to be fantastic, it could have been really bad. If they were even like slightly lower than my sky-high expectations of them, I would have been so disappointed, but wow, they exceeded my expectations. They're so pretty. They're perfect. They are a perfect blush. And it's really great to have that kind of landmark in your makeup brain repertoire, because then you can measure everything else against it. You can say, is this Tom Ford, like I did in the last video, is this $89 Tom Ford blush really worth $89? No, it's not, because you can get 3 of these for like $96 or something, or you get 1 of them for like $30. I don't know. Either way, I got the trio of these. I got Nymphette, Flirtatious, and Divine Rose. I have to say, of all of them, Flirtatious is my favorite. It's the one that I use the absolute most because it's like this perfect pale, 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 pale lavender. And it reminds me a lot of Exhale from PYT, which was a shade that I used to use constantly, but this formula is immaculate, okay? That one was good, it was fine, it was functional and wonderful. This is an unbelievable formula. Somehow it is pressed the perfect amount that it doesn't kick up, it's not dusty, but it also doesn't hard pan. It has this silky, finely milled, oh my gosh, just blissful finish to it. It's sheer enough that you can watercolor with it, but it also has enough pigment that you're not like bored. And I always say, it's like if something's gonna be a luxury product, I'm gonna pay a luxury price for it, it has to practically put itself on. There's something about these, it's like a trick deck of cards. It just does the trick without you really even trying. I really think I might in the new year like end up buying all of the shades. And if they aren't all phenomenal and all great on me, then I just got lucky, but this formula is so beautiful, and every single person who I have seen use it feels the same way about it. They are perfect. Cream blush. We have the Melt Cosmetics Cream Blush Lights. There was something in my soul that knew that these were going to be amazing, and so I bought all of them. I bought the PR mailer basically off of the Melt website. It was not a mistake. It was not an oversight. It was so lovely. I'm so glad to be able to have all of them. I really do reach for these so much, mainly though, the shimmer ones. This is Sandy Cheeks. It just happened to be the one that I pulled out. They're all unbelievably gorgeous. They have a slight dry oil feel to them. Like they have a beautiful, beautiful consistent pigment to them. As consistent as like a Tower 28 cream blush, but I would say a quarter the presence on the skin for the amount of actual pigment that you get. That's what I'm talking about when I say a dry oil. It's still a cream, but it's just so light, and that's what I prefer in a cream blush formula. A, because I'm going to layer it probably with other things that aren't cream, but B, I don't want a lot of product on my face when I'm done. I want to get full color impact that I can still control, that like feathers easily at the edges and stuff, that isn't like trying to manipulate a liquid lipstick on my cheeks, because I've definitely encountered that. But also I want to be able to have the pigment be there without it staying sticky on my face all day and having it so that if I touch my face, it comes back off. So these are just really high performing, and the shades, while I think that they need to go just more variety in terms of like cool tones, paleness, depth, that kind of thing, they were intended to kind of be a summertime release, and they have a lot of just like, you know, very tan undertones to them. And I just think that they are an absolutely gorgeous knock it out of the park formula. It's super special. Ooh. See, I told you I was gonna do it out of order. So I'll start with this. Natasha Denona Puff Paint. Someone in my comments called this a deceptively large amount of product, because it is. I don't know how much product it is, but it is more than it looks like it is. And these are so awesome. They are called a liquid blush serum. It is not, it's just not what you think it's gonna be. Like you put it on your skin, you're like, whoa, they're not kidding. It's a serum. And the colors are wild, and we're all terrified that they're going to discontinue these because there's only 3 weird shades in this, okay? There's this melon that's Daria, there's like a tan, and there's like a funky plum. And I need all of them, but I need them to put more out because this is a really, really cool formula. And it's just not what Natasha Denona until now has been known for. And I think that that's why everybody's scared that they're gonna get pulled, is because like, it's just sort of this like tiny little like cult following that's obsessed with them. But if you didn't try them right when they came out, it's very easy to miss them. And I just think that they're great. I think that they're very, very, very good, and they're super easy to manipulate. They also have that wonderful hybrid formula that I like so much, that's very flattering and nourishing looking on the skin, but it does dry down. And it does cooperate well and spread easily when you have other textures of product on your face. It doesn't have to just be like a dewy face of makeup. And it's just a delivery system that I was very unsure about, but when I got it, I was like, this puts itself on for you. It is a beautiful, easy to wear, the right amount of pigmentation. And the 3 shades that they do have, I like that they're weird. I like that it's unexpected. So yeah, this has just been awesome. This was one that, again, failed to mention, and it's because it's kind of like not clear what product it is, like what part of your face it goes on, and that is very typical of Danessa Myricks, who I love so very, very much. This is Nutcracker in her Vision Flush. That's the one. All the names are really similar. So anyway, Nutcracker is my ideal bronzer shade. Look at that color. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. You want the fastest face of makeup ever? These are really great because they have actually pretty similar to the puff paint kind of like finish on the skin. They're wetter than that, and they are a little less of a serum, quote unquote. And they do have a little bit of a fragrance, which I think is kind of interesting. Again, that's always for like, you know, not wanting to be duped, but this color, you'd have a hard time duping it. It's so special. It is just the most at-home, perfect bronzer contour shade on me that's just like one step to gorgeousness, and I'm very impressed with it. I also have Bread and Butter, her very beautiful, you know, pure rosy pink shade in it, and I can definitely just speak to the quality of the formula. So if Nutcracker's not the shade for you, I still highly recommend the formula. It's gorgeous. This was another one where it just took me so long to get these in my hands. I almost just assumed that there was no way they would meet the high expectations that I had of them, but they actually impressed me more than I could have ever expected them to. And that is the Cosmetics So Soft blushes. They keep embarrassing me because I keep, you know, absent-mindedly calling them, oh my God, they're so soft. And they're called So Soft blushes. Like, where did I get that idea? But they're really, like, look, you know, you can kind of even just press your finger in there and it will like make a little impression really, really easily, because they're incredibly velvety soft, but they're not like ultra dewy, shiny, creamy. They still have a hybrid, a little more hydrating, but like kind of a powder finish. So this is the shade Lychee, or Lychee, however you prefer. And it's still has almost a satin powder finish when you get it on the skin, even if you combine it with other things. So it's so much more versatile in that sense of like what you're gonna wear it with. But the fact that it is so soft means that it gives you a lot of options in the ways that you want to apply it. You can apply it with a brush and just dab it on your skin, or you can apply it directly to your skin and still spread it out. And it doesn't have as much propensity towards disturbing what's under it and around it because it's such a soft formula. It manipulates on its own. You don't have to warm it up to get it to move, which is fantastic. But then it also does have like a committed sort of dry down when it is on the skin. And the colors are gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And it comes in Venetian Rose. I mean, you know, if you're a Venetian Rose fan, there it is. And especially considering the fact that I did not really love her powder blushes because I found them to be so shimmery. And I didn't like the color drops at all, especially expectation versus reality, because everybody said that they were so amazing and I got them and I was like, there's not a whole lot of technology here. This is just such an improvement. They are really, really well executed. So I think that those are all of my Pigment Chic products. I just don't understand what my hair is doing. Either way, you win some, you lose some, right? All right, I have exactly one highlighter to talk about, and it's the highlighter that you saw me reapply in the beginning of this video. I am honestly mostly unimpressed with highlighters because there's usually not a lot of technology there, right? I mean, once you tried one brilliantly shiny highlighter, you've tried most of them. They mostly rush towards the middle and they're fine, but you can dupe a lot of them at the drugstore because it's just not a difficult thing to do. There are a couple of exceptions. I'm not talking about the Aether one right now because it's discontinued. And I don't think it came out this year. I think it came out last year and it is just so good, but it's gone. And that is saddy sad. But the one I am gonna be talking about is the one from Beauty Pie. This is the Triple Beauty Luminizing Wand. They sent this to me. I did not buy this. I bought several things from them, but I'm saying that because I would not have chosen this because I was not prepared to be impressed by a product like this. I've never tried the one from Charlotte Tilbury for the same reason. It's probably beautiful, but this is gonna be a lot less money than the one from Charlotte Tilbury for one thing. And this, it puts itself on, okay? It has this little, you know, twisty guy right here. It is a beautiful neutral rose gold color. And the way that it builds, you can get what I have going on my inner corner right now, which is a blurred, youthful, light-catching illusion that is dreamier than anything I'm able to achieve with a powder eyeshadow, especially me trying to get my stupid pinkies into that teeny tiny little area. I put this on the back of my hand and used a brush to apply that, and it worked beautifully. I put it a little bit on the tip of my nose. I put it on my brow bone. I put it on the top of my lip. This is the ultimate top of the lip highlighter without it looking bizarre in person, okay? It really, really makes the illusion. It plays with light in a way that is exactly what I would be looking for in a highlighter, and it is, I mean, so thin. So thin. There is no emollients to it. There is no noticeable presence on the skin. It dries down in seconds, but it stays like powder movable. You know what I mean? It's not like a lacquer or something where you're just like, uh-oh, now what do I do? It is the most agreeable, most beautiful, most versatile highlighter that I have tried this year. And I am as shocked as you are that what I ended up liking was a liquid highlighter. Say it with me, folks, a shimmer goo, okay? This is highlighter of the year, shimmer goo of the year. And I am as surprised as you are. All right. Uh-oh. I knew I'd miss one. Concealer. This is the other concealer that I think that I tried for the first time this year. It's not new at all, but we've talked about this, Bare Minerals. We're not here for necessarily new things from Bare Minerals. They make reliable products and I will continue to use them for that reason, okay? This is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Concealer. I have it in Fair Cool 01. This is for all of those people who keep asking me for something that is more affordable than Westman Atelier that's still in like a cream stick form. Oh my gosh, this is so good. It is so beautifully the right amount of slip. It's not super, super emollient. It's not like greasy or anything, but you also don't have to warm it up to get it to go on your skin, so it doesn't drag, it doesn't pull. And even just swiping it like that, you can see there's like this beautiful amount of coverage and blur. And unlike one of their other concealer lines, the shades in this are great. It's just a really, really beautiful high-tech kind of concealer for a stick, because most of the time things that are in a stick form like that, you know, they kind of do one thing. This one has a lot of wear time, it has a lot of blur, has a lot of coverage, it layers beautifully, it's lightweight on the skin, and it's fairly affordable. Yeah, I think we're gonna go eyes now. So, the first thing, we need to talk about Makeup by Mario a little bit more, because he had a big sale on his website. Everything was 25% off. And his little quads were $25 for the entire set, plus 25% off, so I got all of those too. But it all started with this little baby, didn't it? This is his new one, the 4Play Everyday Quad Nude 1. This is the nudes. Oh my gosh, you guys. It looks so unassuming, doesn't it? It looks like I could say the same thing about it that I said about the Tom Ford one, where I was like, yep, it's boring and it's not that good. No. These are really, really, really beautiful. Intelligent undertones in these shades. We have kind of a warm creamy white. We have a cool mauvey tan. We have this kind of green brown. And then we have this gorgeous kind of neutral to gold, not a celestial even, but just a really, really beautiful chromy color. That's the oh my God. That's the color story, okay? But the thing about this that really impresses me is the freaking formula. It is so creamy and luxurious feeling. Finely milled, but doesn't hard pan. Picks up just the right amount, blends beautifully, stays, wears all day, has enough stick to it, doesn't blend away. It is like the perfect union of all of those things. And that was what motivated me to try more of his eyeshadow palette. So this is the number one, absolutely all day long. But the other one that has really blown my mind is this one, the Master Metallics. I didn't get the Master Metals. I think you have to have his other little goo for those to work. And I was like, this, I have not been able to put it down. Look at my eyeballs right now. Every time I do an eye look with something that I think is gonna be tame, I think, well, maybe I'll just dip my finger in one of these, and then it ends up being 3 of them. And the Pat Mcgrath palettes have taught me to have a modicum of restraint, and I don't end up piling, you know, all of them on my eyeballs, but you can see, look at the softness. Like, I have touched brushes into these, and they have the most gorgeous, creamy kind of oh my gosh, they're so good. They're so beautiful. The one that I can't stop wearing is this one, and it really reminds me of a Pat Mcgrath shadow that I already own, but it has that really beautiful like brown with a subtle shift to pink or magenta. And then you have like this, you know, I just swatched that really pretty green just to swatch it for you. But the beauty of these is each one of them is kind of wearable in its own way. It's not just like, ooh, shiny, you know, and you bring it home, and unless you were to just like Technicolor like one color all over your whole eyeball and be like, that's it, and like, you know, work the whole look around that, like, you're not gonna really find it super useful. It's very, very different from that. Like, these layer beautifully, they cooperate beautifully, and they all look nice on skin. And I feel like, especially for the price that I was able to get them for, this is a really good compromise. If you had been like eyeing that $78 holiday palette from Pat Mcgrath, I think this is better. That holiday palette from Pat Mcgrath, it just doesn't give you the Pat Mcgrath magic as much, especially for as many shadows as there are in it. It should be more exciting. I feel like if you really distilled that palette down to the exciting parts of it and kind of ran with that just like a half a mile longer, you would end up with this instead. I would recommend this so much if you've been kind of like, if you already have that one, you probably don't need this one. But if you had been deliberating on that and kind of wondering if you should get it before it goes away or something, this one is better to me. Speaking of Pat Mcgrath, I I bought 2 Pat McGrath palettes this year, and I really don't know which one to talk about as like the best one, because there's a Pat McGrath palette for every mood that you have. Personally, if I'm going to pick my ride or die, like, you know, Desert Island, I would go with the original Divine Rose, because it's just, I mean, this looks like it was made for me. You know, those are the right colors for my skin tone. Perfect amounts of everything without having anything extra. It is both a practical everyday palette and also an artistry palette for me. I never get bored with it. I love it. But if you've been eyeing that Utopian Dream palette, guys, I got that one too, and it is so much fun. It's so much fun. Like, a lot of times I look at palettes like this and I think, yeah, but what's that gonna look like on my eyes? It looks like magic, okay? This woman has enabled me to try things that I would never have had the courage, let's say, to buy in a single pan before. The fact that she combines them in these stories, that's what enables me and my artistic mind to start thinking differently about what I can wear. And the Utopian Dream palette just like opened doors in my brain. That's the beauty of a true artist creating makeup is, yeah, you know, I fully appreciate someone really, really building in the intelligence of a very, very practical palette. But like Pat McGrath she's a genius and she's an artist. And the way that she puts colors together is so brilliant. You can tell that she loves it. You can tell that there's joy in it for her. And this is a joyful palette. This color right here, it is this oil slick color from the Utopian Dream palette. I cannot stop it. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. I love putting it on my eyes, especially brown eyes. It has made me think completely differently about the kinds of eyeshadows that I can wear as like an adult woman. I was like, oh, all this stuff, you know, I'm too old to be able to wear things like that. And I don't ever want anyone to think that, you know, but like, I think I had a complex about it. I was like, well, time to just, you know, shop at boring stores and wear boring makeup. And then I was like, no, you know what? No, I'm gonna take a toe outside my comfort zone, and I was rewarded tenfold. So if what you're looking for is a very, very high quality artistry palette that really enables you, even if you don't have like what you think are the skills to back it up, the Utopian Dream palette is incredible. If you're looking for something that is bridging the gap between artistry and practical everyday, I would definitely suggest, if you are kind of undertoned like me, the Divine Rose one. But like, I invite you, just go into Sephora now that they're all on display at Sephora and just look at the palettes and see what resonates with you, because they can be really overwhelming online. They're just shiny and gorgeous, and like, you really can't go wrong, but you can go so right with them. Like, you can get the palette that is perfect for you, that you will fall asleep dreaming about every night. It will like lower your heart rate thinking about it. So like, for the $125 price tag, which is insane, if you're an eyeshadow person, go in there, take your time, enjoy it, don't stress yourself out, and actually pick the one that is perfect for you. Because what's perfect for me is not gonna necessarily be perfect for you, and they have been designed and curated to be complete thoughts. So let Mama Pat curate one for you, basically. And finally, in terms of an artistry palette, it is coming at it from the entirely other side, and that is the Hindash Utopsy. Now, I am so excited to see what Hindash is coming out with in 2022. He has been teasing it on his Instagram stories. I can't wait. The sky's the limit. Either way, I lean on this all the time. I love this so much. This is, again, the Utopsy palette, and the way that it's constructed is to be kind of like a full face palette, but I also use it to really carve out the shadow and light before I iterate on top of that. It's just a really, really good, it doesn't look like it's basic, but it's a fantastic basics palette, because you have a warm white and a cool white. You have a light tan brown, you have like a mid warm brown, and then you have like the potential to have a really nice cool brown. You can move to the middle of this and get a really nice cool gray brown. That's what I use in my crease a lot. And so you just kind of have to slightly adjust the wheels in your brain to start thinking like this, but as soon as you do, it is just such a more practical way of thinking about the basics of building an eye look. So yeah, I've loved this and I cannot wait to see what you do next, Mr. Hindash. Cannot wait. And it's like the same size as the Mcgrath. Like I feel like they're like little companions. Okay, so in my fails of the year video, I said I was going to mention in this video some of the non-tubing mascaras that I have tried this year that have just knocked my socks off, because you guys know the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara, Hourglass, Unlocked, Victoria Beckham, Limitless Lash, what is that one called? Future Lash. Those are my go-tos. But I understand that not everybody wants to use a tubing mascara and they still want a formula that's not going to smudge, that's also really, really beautiful. I will tell you my taste in mascara. This is my first video that you're watching. I like things that build volume pretty quickly, but I also need length. I don't need curl holding. So none of these is going to be like waterproof or with that motivation in mind. They are just going to build really good, effective visual impact. So the first one being a clean formula. The new Ilia, what do they call this one? Fullest Volumizing Mascara. I was very impressed with this. The best thing about the Ilia mascara formulas is that even though they're not tubing formulas, they rinse totally clean, which is, at least on me, phenomenal. It does depend on what products you use around your eye, like with them, whether something's gonna stick or what have you. But in my experience, I found that this was very, very similar to their original formula, but it built a lot more volume. It performed beautifully. It didn't smudge on me. It was very easy to take it back off. The next one, authored. Yes, Tanya Burr's company. And she had some things that were good and some things that were great. Nothing really bothered me about it. They were all pretty darn good. The mascara, I did hear some complaints because with the exchange rates for some people to get it shipped to them, it was like off the charts expensive. It was like $58 or something crazy like that. I am not sure what it's like everywhere. I don't think I paid that much for it, but even if you're just in the UK, this is such a good mascara. It is so, 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 so pretty. Oh my gosh, and it's in metal. It's very nice. Actually, this one? No, this one might be metal too. Yeah, this one's in metal too. Awesome. Yeah, wow. Wow, this is such a pretty mascara and it doesn't smudge and it rinses pretty easily, but it builds such gorgeous controllable volume and it's like matte and it's a really good mascara. I like it so much. It is if you wanted the big clean to be good. If you wanted it to not smudge, use this one. Next, the Beauty Pie one. Wow, me and Amanda were literally texting. She's like, have you tried this mascara? And I was like, I know, it's so good. So this is the Beauty Pie Uber Volume Boost Velvet Mascara. It will give you doll lashes. It is so pretty and it does rinse fairly clean. I mean, you know, not as clean as some of the other ones. It's not like that instant removal, but it's, to me, worth it. Like, you know, I love Jones Road, but like it was impossible to get it off of my eye. Like impossible to get it off of my eyes. One of the prettiest mascaras I've ever used. This one kind of gives me that same Jones Road, like wapow kind of volume, and as it matures in the tube, it's gonna give you like more of that hunky chunky visual impact, but it doesn't smudge and it does rinse very, very easily. So I loved this. I think it's gorgeous. And finally, this one is not quite as hunky chunky, but it is a beautiful lengthening formula and it rinses completely clean. It's so beautiful and it will not smudge. It is much more to me of like a lightweight face of makeup kind of mascara, but if, you know, those weren't the ones for you, this one might be. And this is the new Aether The Big Bang Mascara. I don't think it's actually new anymore, but either way, I don't get as much use out of this because I do get impatient trying to build volume. But if you want length, if what you want is defined length in a formula that's not going to like stamp all over your eyes and run all over the place, and it's in a clean formula, which I'm not like, you know, preachy one way or the other about that, but like my eyes are sensitive and I totally understand. That's a big reason that a lot of people don't use a tubing mascara or even a waterproof mascara. A lot of times it's because of sensitivity with their eyes and we're all different. One thing about this is it is so lightweight, it is going to be better about holding a curl. So, you know, do this, let it freeze down and then use one of those hunky chunky ones. I don't know, live your life. But I just wanted to give you guys, you know, the ones that I don't get to mention because I always in my own personal life reach for a tubing formula. All right, this here box is getting pretty empty. Let's talk about my favorite brow products real quick. Yeah, this is not a surprise to anybody. I never thought that I would fall in love with an eyebrow pencil, but I did. And it is the Refi Brow Pencil by Jess Hunt. And oh my gosh, this little pencil is just the tiniest little thing, but it's got the right amount of emollients to it. The Cosmetics ones are really nice, but they're a little bit dry for my taste. And I think that that lends itself better to people who truly need to draw hairs on, which I totally understand. You know, if you want to draw believable hairs and you're not going to use a spoolie as much to like give you kind of more of a solid brow presence. But for me, this is the ideal color. I have it in the medium shade, and also the ideal kind of like spreadability where it still holds its own and it fills my brows. I could draw little hairs in if I really wanted to, but the way that it's super easy to break the line up if I have kind of, you know, just decided I was gonna draw them on today, you know. It's just perfect. It's kind of hard for me to describe that because it's so personal. She's got 3 shades in it. It's not exactly a fully fleshed out shade range. For a fully fleshed out shade range, I'm also very, very impressed by the Cosas one. I think it's beautiful. The Air Brow, or is that the Brow Pop? Oh, darn it. Either way, the pencil. I like it very much, but I like this color the best, and I like the teeny, tiny pencil. The delivery system is phenomenal. And it's just so, there's just something about it. It's so sleek. Yeah. And the only other thing in here from Authored, oh my gosh, this was immediately my new favorite brow mousse, what do they call this? Brow gel. It's a colored tinted brow gel. I used it today. I have it in the shade 2 Mid Brown. It's got fibers in it. It's got more pigment, just slightly more pigment than Boy Brow from Glossier. It's in metal. Ooh, we love that. This is all done in like vegan formulas and everything. That's the other thing, is it's vegan, which Boy Brow is not. And it's got this really beautifully long wand on it, which makes it easier for me. It doesn't feel like kid makeup. If I'm wearing a lightweight face of makeup, I will wear just this. And if I want more impact like I did today, where my eyebrows need to stand up to the amount of other makeup that I put on my eyes, I will put it on top of a brow pencil. But it's just so agreeable. It really is like someone took Boy Brow and elevated it. All right, we have a couple more eyeshadows here. These are like my liquid eyeshadow favorites. So the first one was the Denona. There are people in the attic. The multi-chrome flakes. Holy mackerel, guys. These things just blew my mind. Like, they blew my mind. I want all the colors in them. I just haven't gotten around to ordering more of them, but like, oh my God. They are every Y2K dream you've ever had, and in the most wearable, fun way. When you put them down on your skin, they don't make any kind of topography. It's just this beautiful unicorn skin kind of reflection. So that was Moonlight. And the other one that I tend to reach for even more is Starburst, and it is the pink, and it is like the most intoxicating pink. I mean, look at that, look at it. It really is like someone took body glitter from all of our afterthoughts dreams and made it something that looks fun but classy. And the best thing, and it's the thing that I always say with Danessa Myricks, is like she takes things that look so unbelievably exquisite and she makes them so easy to use. They are the epitome, to me, of fun and easy to use, all the way in the upper corner of your quadrant. They're just so utterly beautiful. I love them. And then the other ones are all of these, the Vesca Moonlit Dream Cream Shadows. Yes, I just happened to pull Orion, and it is this kind of cool toned brown, but there are 4 of these, and they are just these really, really beautiful, very like mature and luxurious looking, and super easy to control liquid shadows. And I think that I think Vesca I tried for the first time this year, and if not, they just kind of live rent-free in my brain because they're just so stinking pretty. But like, that is what I hoped Mink was going to be from Victoria Beckham, because it's the right kind of tonal shifts, the right base note of the color, and they're so easy to control. They're very, very user friendly. They're fun and easy. And so what you get with that is like, you can lay it down and get like this intoxicating wet look, and then you can still spread it with a brush even after it's dry, because it goes right to a powder finish, like a regular eyeshadow kind of powder finish. I found those to be genius and really not comparable to anything else that I had tried previous to that. All right, the only things left, guys, are lip products, and none of these is going to surprise you. None of them. We're gonna start with this one. This is the Illamasqua Hydra Lip Tint in the shade Picnic Plum. Let's do that. It had all the makings of being the world's biggest gimmick because it kind of mixes to match on your skin, but it is, oh my God, it smells so good. It smells like vanilla. Highly, highly effective lip balm. Very, very, very nourishing lip balm. And the shade is incredible. It's just this amazing, translucent, cool toned plum. I find it to be the finishing touch, the je ne sais quoi, on so many makeup looks that you just like don't, like watch this. You don't realize how much that like tonal shift can just anchor a look, right? Like that just pulled all those really beautiful, flattering, violet, cool tones out of my eye look, out of my cheeks, just because of that beautiful lip tint that's a color that I just don't have anywhere else. The Undressed Collection from Cosas Wet Lip Oils. They sent all these to me. I actually asked them to. They were like, you need anything? And I was like, I want all of the new lip oils. This is unzipped. I really can't pick a favorite though, because they are all so uniquely beautiful. And what I like about them is that they kind of have a milky sheen to them that is, it's all those kinds of subtle undertones. There's one that's a little more gold, there's one that's a little bit more purple, there's one that's a little bit more tan, and they're so pretty. They're just so pretty, and they're nourishing, they're beautiful, they smell nice. I burn through these. I love this formula to begin with, but it's just, it's such a pretty, lightweight, nourishing hybrid product that's both a lip gloss and a lip oil. They're beautifully executed, and these shades are off the charts. Next, and I just happened to pull one of them. Again, you guys would probably try to like, you know, check me for a fever if I didn't mention these. So these are the Pat McGrath Lust Glosses. This happens to be the shade Faux Real, and it is, you know, just a good warm nude for me. These are pretty much the most regular lip gloss formula that I own, that I love. You know, they're a little sticky. They're super, super glossy. They remind me a lot of the MAC lip glosses. They smell like vanilla, but they're just so beautiful. They're so nourishing. They're so bouncy. She puts them on sale all the time. There's tons and tons and tons of shades, and they're just fun. They're fun and easy to use, and they're beautiful, and they set off a makeup look in a beautiful way. This is it. This is the last one. I think, even though the little window still looks like it has product in it, I think this is almost empty. This is my absolute most used single lip product all year, and it is the Westman Atelier Squeaky Clean Liquid Lip Balm in Nana. It is the most dialed in, gorgeous, cool, they call it like a cool beige. I think it's lavender. And for as much as I tout that lovely plumminess of the Picnic Plum, I have yet to find a makeup look that this doesn't flatter. Look at that color, look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it. It's like someone took the Hourglass in Provoke and mixed it, like if they mixed it with the Beauty Pie one, and it made this perfect hybrid lightweight gloss. It calls itself a liquid lip balm, but I would compare it more to the wet lip oil from Cosas in its formula than a true slippy liquid lip balm. It doesn't have that funky slippy thing. The thing that I love about this is, much like the Cosas, is I can talk on camera for an hour and a half wearing this, and I never get that creepy white thing that will happen with a lot of other ones, the Pat McGrath included. And this color is just, it's perfect for me. And I'm always in pursuit of the perfect, cool leaning lavender nudie kind of shades for me. Like that's just what I magpie towards, and this is just it. I love Garçon too, but I don't reach for Garçon anywhere near as much as I reach for this. So like all of those other lip glosses are great, but I feel like someone combined them all in this, and it's also a luxury experience while you're using it, and it smells like limoncello. So yeah, guys, those are my favorites of the year. Just because I didn't mention certain things does not mean that they were not things that I still loved, but that's why I make more than one video a year, you know? But these are the things that just absolutely knocked my socks off and like still live in my brain all the time as reasons that I'm excited to do my own makeup and things that like I want to construct video ideas around in order to share them with you over and over again. So I hope that you guys found this valuable. I hope that you guys had fun. I hope that this has been a fun place for you guys to come this year and, you know, maybe past years too, but it's been tough. It's been weird times, man. And I find this to be a sanctuary for me to come and collect myself and have some like routine and normalcy. And it's my own personal sanctuary. And so I am so proud, especially at, you know, hitting this milestone of 60,000, that like I've created a place where other people tell me that they are so grateful for a sense of rhythm and a place to come back to that's consistent and just a place of like, you know, positivity maybe, but just some kind of good, happy distraction in their life. So I am so grateful for you guys. I really, really am. Like, this is my dream job. Like, this is what I wake up looking forward to every day. And I thank you guys so much for letting me do the dream job of my life. So yeah, if you liked this, give it a thumbs up. If this is my first video that you're watching, welcome, hi. It's usually like this. But yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. I love you, bye.